What's up, y'all? Welcome back to the Us vs. Them YouTube channel. This is the channel where we do in-depth breakdowns of upcoming UFC fights so we can put together long shot but intelligent parlays. I'm your host, Vince, and let's get into this. The first fight we're going to break down today is Yasmin Lucindo versus Angela Hill. Lucindo is sitting at a minus 210 favorite, and Angela Hill is a plus 162 underdog. Angela Hill is perennially underrated in the UFC. She's very much a Neil Magny of the strawweight division. She's always an underdog in almost every single fight that she has, and most of the time, at least half the time, she proves us wrong. I think that's going to be the case here. Given Yasmin Lucindo's muscular frame and how much she throws and all out of her punches, I think she's going to get tired sooner. And Angela Hill is known for her pace. She's known for pacing herself intelligently and putting a good pace on fighters. And in the later rounds, she starts to work ahead and eventually get decisions. I think that's what's going to happen here. Lucindo has been fighting older fighters in her past, and like she's fought Kowalski, 38, Rodriguez is 37, Lemos is 37, and now she's going to fight Angela Hill, who's 40. But to be honest with you, I don't think any of those girls are as good in rounds 2 or 3 as Angela Hill, except for maybe Lemos. Lemos did beat both of them, but I think rounds 2 or 3 is where we're going to see who the real winner of this fight's going to be, and I'm leaning towards Hill. Both fighters like to strike wildly when they get into range. But if it's not going their way, they both like to lock up a clinch, a body lock, and either get a trip or press the fight against the cage. Hill has a lot of experience with a lot of high-level fighters working against the cage. She knows what to do when her back is against the cage. She knows what to do when she's got somebody pressed up against the cage, and I like her ability to get the fight on the ground from there. An easy prediction for this fight is that it's going to go to the scorecards. So given that, it's going to be who can win the chess game. I don't think anybody's going to get a knockout. I don't think anybody's going to get submitted. I think, like I said, we're going to go to the judges' scorecards, so it's going to be who wins the aesthetic of a fight. And Angela Hill has shown time and time again that she wins the aesthetic of a fight. She might not be doing the damage, but she's winning the point battle. And given that, I think, like I said, the fight's going to be decided not with fists, but what's in between the ears. And I favor Angela Hill at being the more crafty fighter. So for my official prediction, I'm going Angela Hill by decision. The next fight we're going to be looking at is Steve Erceg versus Ode Osbourne. Steve Erceg is sitting at a minus 590 favorite, and Ode Osbourne is sitting at a plus 390 underdog. Of the two fighters, Ode Osbourne is definitely the most explosive fighter. He's going to have that explosive advantage, especially in round 1. But like we already know, with a lot of quick twitch fighters, that starts to fade as the fight goes on. But in round 1, he's definitely going to be favored in that regard. Erceg is going to have a clear boxing advantage here. He's one of the best boxers in the flyweight division, if not the best boxer in the division. He does a really good job of getting just outside of range and throwing counter strikes when he does get out of range. He doesn't always throw counter strikes, but he chooses those times very intelligently. I think that's going to be the biggest factor. He also does really well at protecting himself when he gets in those wild gunfights. He's a longer, rangier fighter in most of his fights, so he's used to guys exploding in on him. So because of that, he can time counter shots really well, but I think he does better when he's leading the dance. There have been times for both guys where they showed questionable fight IQ. When we think back to Steve Erceg's fight against Pantoja, he was winning the striking battle. He was winning rounds 3, 4, and 5, at least in the striking battle. He's winning pretty much most of the fight, at least on his feet. But he kept trying to shoot takedowns, and almost every time he either got sprawled on and he spun him around, or he just got stuffed in general. It almost always ended up with Pantoja being on top. He had the game plan of using his hands to mix in takedowns, which is a good game plan for most of the time. But against Pantoja, that's not exactly going to work. He's really high level grappling, Pantoja, so it showed kind of questionable fight IQ. If he'd have kept that fight on the feet, he would have been world champion. Ode Osbourne definitely shows some times where he has a lower fight IQ. We saw that in the Ronaldo Rodriguez fight. That fight was razor close going into the last basically minute of the fight. They get into a weird scramble, and Ode Osbourne, I think, could have worked back to his feet, and he was winning the striking battle and probably would have won that last minute and won the fight, won the round, won the whole fight. But instead, he pulled guard, and I just didn't know why he did that. Like, it just didn't make any sense to me. And, when I see guys like that do something like that, they have a clear advantage in one direction, and they just pull guard to stay safe. I know he was tired. I know it felt like the safe thing to do, but he gave the fight away. I think the grappling advantage also goes to Erceg. He showed he has really good grappling, and he at least can keep himself safe on bottom against when he fought Pantoja. I think he's going to find a way to get the fight on the ground at some points, try to look for some ground and pound, and maybe even a submission. But if he does get the fight to the ground, he needs to be very mindful that Ode Osbourne is relatively dangerous off his back. Everybody knows that most of the time you can't win a fight off your back, and I'm not talking about you jiu-jitsu nerds. Just can't win fights off your back. That's just the reality. But Ode Osbourne does have a nice triangle that he's got a couple wins from triangle, and he does have a really dangerous one. So that's something for Erceg to be mindful of. The cardio advantage is definitely going to go to my guy Steve Erceg. I mean, he just doesn't really slow down in fights. He doesn't seem like he looks tired. He has a more economical fighting style than Ode Osbourne. And like I've said, Ode Osbourne has been known to kind of melt as the fight goes on. So as the longer the fight goes, the more that Ode Osbourne's power starts to fade, the more it's going to start favoring Steve Erceg. For my official prediction, I'm going Steve Erceg. But fellas, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. It's super hard to predict a method of victory on this one, and I'm not going to touch that this weekend as far as predicting exactly how he's going to win. I'm confident he is going to win. Ode Osbourne is kind of a step down based on his last fights. He fought Pantoja, he fought Kakar France, he fought Brandon Moreno. Two of those guys are champions. The other guys fought for a title. Ode Osbourne hasn't really sniffed a title shot before, so we are taking a step down. I'm not saying Ode Osbourne can't win. It's a fucking fight. Anybody can win. But I'm definitely leaning towards... I know Steve Erceg is going to win this fight. I just know it. But picking a method of victory is just something I've been grappling for a while now. He can knock him out. He can sub him. He can get a decision. He can do it all. And if you look at the lines, they're pretty even for all those things. So choosing a method of victory this fight, I don't think we should even touch. But I have to do official prediction. So for my official prediction, I'm going to go with a club and sub submission. I think he's going to hit him with a nice check hook. Those check hooks are going to be really active this fight, and I think Osbourne is susceptible to them. I think Osbourne has a good enough chin where he's not going to go out cold from it, but I can see him getting clubbed, getting a check hook, knocked down. Erceg finds a way to get around his throat and chokes him out. So we're going Steve Erceg reluctantly by submission. The last fight we're going to get into is the main event of the weekend, the reason why we're all here. It's going to be Roman Dolidze versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Dolidze is at a plus 265 underdog, and Fluffy is sitting at a minus 370 favorite. Guys, I'm going to come out and say it. Fluffy is getting this done. The streak is going to continue. I think that this is going to be kind of even a step down a little bit in the competition that he's faced recently. Dolidze has been in there with Nasruddin Imavov. He went the full 25 minutes with that. That's probably his best performance ever, to be honest with you. He wasn't able to get put away by Imavov, even though he did get crushed the first round. But then he's been in there with guys like Anthony Smith, Kevin Holland at 185, which we know Kevin Holland 185 isn't great. Hernandez has been in there with guys like Roman Kapilov, Michelle Pereira, Brendan Allen. He's been in there with some dudes. Some tough dudes in the division, and they have a different style of fighting, all of them. He seems to overcome all of them with his one style of fighting that we all know. He's going to set up takedowns with his hands. He's going to look to get the fight against the cage. He's going to shoot. Doesn't matter if he doesn't get the first one, because the motherfucker ain't going to stop shooting. Fernandez has a really unique ability of wearing on his opponents. I say Fernandez, I meant Hernandez. Hernandez has a really unique ability to wear down on his opponents, implement his style that he's well known for. He's starting to perfect it, to be honest with you. He's like almost like Khabib at 185. You know what I'm saying. But he's just really starting to wear on guys, and I think he really is the future of the division. I think against a guy like Dolidze, who is probably going to start to wear out, and once we get to rounds 3, 4, and 5, if we make it there, I think Fluffy's style is really going to wear on him, and that power that Dolidze is known for it's going to be gone, I think, after a round and a half. You guys should go back and watch the Michelle Pereira fight with Fluffy. I think that this fight is going to go very similarly that Pereira's fight did. I know they don't fight similarly, but the way they pace themselves is relatively similar. Kapilov really likes to... not Kapilov. Dolidze really likes to he's plotty, He doesn't move his feet that much. He waits for big power punches, and he doesn't set him up. And I don't think Fluffy's going to fall for that in the sense that he's not going to rush into one of his big shots. I watched an interview recently where he said he's got him figured out, and I believe really confidently that he does. Because Dolidze is a very one-dimensional fighter. He's not known for much of anything, which sometimes could be a good thing. But, I mean, you really have to have something that kind of separates you from the gap. I don't think Roman Dolidze has that. I don't want to shit on Dolidze too much because I think he is one of the better guys in the division, easily a top 10 guy. I think he matches up really poorly, though, against Fluffy. For my official prediction, we're riding with Anthony Fluffy Hernandez. Take that to the bank. I'm telling you right now, he is going to get the submission. He is going to eventually find his way to get on his back and get that rear naked choke. The only way it doesn't go that way is if he's starting to ground and pound him and he catches him with a big shot and just puts his lights out, which obviously that can happen. I do trust Dolidze's chin to hold up, to just survive till he can get choked out at least. So that's why I feel very confidently about this submission prop. But for my official prediction, I'm going with Fluffy by submission. Well, that's all I got for you guys today. We've already broken down all 12 fights for the upcoming fight night. Dolidze versus Hernandez. I think there's huge money-making opportunities. I know I've said that the past couple weeks, but this one I feel very confidently about. I think that there's going to be some really good parlays that I can throw together. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video so you can get some of those official parlays. You can run with one, two, or all of them. I'll guarantee you 2 parlays, but I might even have a third one for you. So we're just going to keep putting that together, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, let's go Fluffy.